What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Overly Committed channel. This is Completely Biased, and I am your host, Zach Lowell. A couple of things I want to address up front. First and foremost, I apologize for my delay, especially with these sports videos. I know you guys have all just been dying to hear what I have to say about some of these subjects, and I apologize for keeping everybody waiting for so long. As you guys can see, I've been spending some time upgrading my situation, getting more of a studio set into place, working on some things so I could bring all of you the best content possible. So with all that being said, all the fun lovey-dovey introductions, that's my reasoning. I've been gone. I'm going to be back. I will be more present, but I am so happy to be here where I am with the studio behind me. It's taken a lot of hard work. I cannot thank everybody enough for all of their love, all of the support everyone has given me. It has meant the world to me. But let's get into today's subject. Obviously, we got March Madness in full swing at the time of recording this video. We're going to have some games going live in about an hour. I've been trying to cover this March Madness tournament, but games happen so fast and so often. To cover one thing, edit it, put a video out tomorrow. Man, it is tough to stay on top of this. But I wanted to spend today, I wanted to cover a little bit of March Madness, maybe what I think the Final Four is going to be. But really, I wanted to talk about Duke and one particular player. Sure, we know who that is. We're getting closer and closer to the end of the college season, into the craziness that's going to become the NBA draft. Want to talk about how I think Zion Williamson is going to fit into the NBA, and on top of that, how I think Duke players have fit into the NBA in general. So let's get it going, guys. Another one coming at you. By the way, did you catch it? New episode is now called Completely Biased. I decided to start two channels, one for sports, one for gaming. Those are my two passions, my two hobbies. For me, this is a hobby. I have my sports, we're going to call that Completely Biased. So from now on, any sports show I do will be completely biased. Any gaming shows I do will be called For the Love of the Game. So with that being said, is this now the inaugural episode? Nah, it's not the inaugural episode. We're talking about the same stuff, y'all. Welcome to an episode of Completely Biased. Let's get it going. So let's get it cracking, y'all. I have yet to talk to anybody about March Madness. Now, to me, March Madness is one of the funnest times of the year. Happens only once a year, but it is the most. And admittedly, I maybe don't watch the most college basketball during the regular season. What's the point? It's all about March Madness, baby. This is where it goes down. And I have yet to talk to you guys about some of my thoughts or what I think, but considering it takes me about a day to edit these videos before I actually get them put out there, I can't really cover the tournament because I cover it today. We got games going on in an hour, and by the time I put it out tomorrow, maybe everything I said could be disproven. All the number one seeds could lose, and everything I said now just seems like I made it all up, and I don't want to do that to you guys. But let's just chat a little bit. Let's chat a little bit about the March Madness tournament here. So as of today, we got games starting in an hour, and all four number one seeds are still alive. And I would not be surprised. Ooh, hot take coming your way, guys. Be ready. Hot take. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if all four number one seeds made it to the Final Four this year. And if we had to look at the national championship, hot take coming your way, Duke and North Carolina. That's probably where it's heading. It's where it's going to go. If Gonzaga sneaks in there as a number one seed as well, Gonzaga's been playing some really, really, really good team ball. I would like to mention Virginia as number one seed having a chance, but if history tells us anything, Virginia should have been eliminated like 2 rounds ago. So maybe this is a win for Virginia. They're making it past the round of 32, so way to go, Virginia. But in reality, no. I think that all 4 1 seeds could possibly make it. I do think it is going to be Duke at North Carolina. Contrary to popular belief, I do think North Carolina is actually going to win the championship this year. If you watch, especially the way again, they've played Duke a handful of times. If you watch the way North Carolina plays, they don't necessarily have the individual star power that Duke has, but North Carolina plays a very cohesive team game, especially when it matters most. If you're watching them throughout the tournament, it looks like they are playing as a solid unit, maybe the best unit in college basketball right now. So as far as my pick, I think it's going to be North Carolina. Granted, in 2 days from now, everything I said could be completely wrong, but that is my personal opinion. I think we're going to get a Duke-North Carolina epic showdown. I think that North Carolina is going to take Duke down. And so that led me to another realization that I really, really wanted to talk about, and this is the heart of really what I want to discuss. And it's about Duke. And when you look at the school of Duke, especially as a college basketball program, I think that it's arguable that Duke is the most popular, most prestigious college basketball institution in the entire United States. I would say more than North Carolina. They got them beat. More than Gonzaga. There's teams that Villanova, for instance, doesn't have a presence anywhere else. They're a basketball school. Syracuse. I think Duke is probably the most prestigious, most well-known, most, if that describes it, type of college basketball institution. So why is it that there aren't that many Duke stars in the NBA? Could it be that the skill just doesn't translate? Could it be they're not as good as we think they are, and really it's Coach K and not the players? Could it be you just... I honestly don't know. What could it be that makes all of these Duke players so good in college in this system, but then you place them in the NBA, there's this drastic fall off? And I know I got a lot of Duke fans out there, so I'm very excited to hear what you guys have to say about this. But it led me to kind of start doing some research, some digging, and I wanted to think, and I heard people talking about this, and so I wanted to do my own research, and I was floored by some of the results. When you think of the school Duke and all of the great players that have came from there, I wanted to just do a little bit of research. How many players in the NBA that are scoring double digits, I'd say average at least double digits points per game, how many Duke stars are there in the NBA? 9. There is 9 players in the NBA, all of the NBA, that went to Duke that averaged more than 10 points per game. I was floored when I saw that. Not even 10 players in the NBA averaged 10 points per game that came from Duke. Duke is a great school. Why is it that it doesn't translate? And so if you're curious, by the way, there's only, I think, 4 players that average more than 15 points per game. I think the biggest star came from Duke, we would all probably agree, is Kyrie Irving. And he breaks the mold. He's a great player. Great team. I wouldn't say a great teammate, but a great asset. Kyrie Irving is a superstar. Of all the Duke players I'm about to list off, Kyrie Irving is by far the biggest star. After Kyrie Irving, it goes to Brandon Ingram. That's right. The next best Duke player in the NBA is a guy who's kind of unproven right now, and that's Brandon Ingram. After Brandon Ingram, it's a guy who's been in the league for over 10 years. It's J.J. Redick. Remember J.J. Redick, 3-ball shooter? One of the greatest role players. I love J.J. Redick. I think he's a valuable asset, especially on teams with superstars. You put J.J. Redick on a team with somebody like a Giannis, somebody like a LeBron, somebody who can dribble, penetrate, and kick out. That's where J.J. Redick shines, and he plays his role, and he plays it well. He's got great motivation, great hustle. He plays good on the defensive side of the ball. And then after that, the new one is Jason Tatum, and I think Jason Tatum is going to be a superstar in this league. But that's the 4. It's Kyrie, it's Brandon Ingram, it's J.J. Redick, and Jason Tatum. 4 people in the NBA came from Duke and averaged more than 15 points per game. That shocked me. So what could it be? And now with all this hype around Zion, and Zion Williamson is the new biggest, baddest thing to come, or is going to be coming to the NBA, everyone is saying he is the sure ballot first pick. No, I would agree. I think he is the first pick. He's got the star. He's got the star power. When Zion comes to your franchise, he's going to bring people. He's going to sell tickets. But with this list that I just gave you, can we expect Zion to really excel the way that we truly think he is? We're talking about Zion like he's the next coming of LeBron James. We're saying he is. People are saying that he's a top 30 player in the NBA right now. As a college student, they're saying Zion is a top 30 player. Are we setting our expectations a little too high? We only get a fantastic Duke basketball player every 5 or so years. I think we need to maybe pump the brakes on the NBA prospect that is Zion Williamson. And so then again, this led me to, why is this? They have one of the greatest head coaches. I love Coach K. I think nobody can argue against Coach K. I'm sure if I could have one dinner with any sports figure aside from Jim Boeheim, it would be Coach K. I would love to pick his mind. Great basketball. Just a great person, it seems. Excuse me. It seems. Now, when you're looking at Duke, at the university. Zion is this huge superstar, but if you look at it in the media, we don't get too much of Zion. He was out for a couple of games, and Coach K does a great job of keeping his superstars away from the media, kind of keeps them sheltered, doesn't necessarily let them go out there and answer all their own questions or make a fool of themselves, and that's a good thing for college basketball. Duke is a huge school, but we don't hear a lot about the individual antics of the Duke players because Coach K does such a great job of insulating them from the outside world, which is great for kids. But in today's NBA, we have kids who are becoming NBA All-Stars or NBA players at the age of 20, 21 years old, if not younger, maybe give or take a couple years older. These are young kids, and when they come into the role of an NBA star, there is no more insulation. There is not that Coach K blanket anymore. You are now dealing with the NBA media. And in most cases, a lot of these kids who are going to go in the first 5 picks are going to go to a very disorganized, dysfunctional NBA franchise. Not coming from something so well organized, so smooth, like the prestigious program that is Duke. These kids get thrown to the wolves and go to an organization like, I don't know, the New York Knicks, who have the worst owner in Jim Dolan in sports history ever. Maybe that's an exaggeration, unless you're a Knicks fan and you're on my page, and that's not an exaggeration. He's the worst ever. But let's take a picture like Zion, and hopefully my Knicks do get the number 1 pick because we are absolutely terrible. So with the number 1 pick, we take Zion Williamson. That's a great pick. He's going to sell tickets. Is he really going to fit in the New York? We are a dysfunctional franchise. This young kid is going to come to a franchise like the New York Knicks and be torn apart. He hurt his knee because he came through a shoe and then spent 3-4 games on the sideline not playing. If you go to a team like New York, like the Phoenix Suns, like the Orlando, one of these teams that are desperately fiending for an all-star, bro, we're paying you millions and millions of dollars. I don't care if you came through your shoe. Get another pair of Nikes on and go back on the court, millionaire. Well, welcome to New York. We need success here. You get these kids and you throw them into a rabid fan base of people who are so desperate to win, you're not going to get the same type of treatment. Welcome to the NBA where you're making a lot of money and your fans expect a crap ton of you. Things like college, especially like Duke, the balance of power is so off-centered. Zion doesn't have to be there in order for Duke to get into March Madness and get into the tourney. Once they get into the tourney, Zion came back and boom, they're doing that. You can't do that in the NBA. There's a problem if you choose to sit out. It's different. So I guess my conclusion is Duke making soft basketball players. They insulate them so much, and they're such a well-run school, such a well-run institution when they get to the real world of the NBA, and it's nothing like this smooth ride that's been Duke their entire life, and they come into New York with James Dolan, and we have no idea what's going on. How is Zion going to handle that? There's kids from smaller schools who come from less of this insulation, less of the structured world, and they seem to do better in the real world of the NBA. And as I'm talking about this, because I know the Knicks have a very valid chance to get the number 1 pick and get Zion Williamson. People want that. People want to see the Knicks have some sort of relevancy in the NBA, and I understand that. We're a historic franchise. And now what I'm worried about is we're supposed to go out there and get Kevin Durant. We're supposed to go out there. We're supposed to get Kyrie Irving. And now we're going to draft Zion Williamson? Thinking about that, our media is going to tear these dudes apart. KD is already hypersensitive. I've spoken about this. The New York media is going to tear Kevin Durant apart. He gets all up in arms and, he's fighting with kids on Instagram. That's going to be a problem if we get Kevin Durant. Additionally, if we get Kyrie Irving, Kyrie is the most miserable millionaire all-star I've ever seen in my entire life. And watching Kyrie Irving is amazing because he is like a magician. It's like he dances with the ball on the court, and it is so fun to watch. He's a great player, but personality-wise, he's always in the news for the wrong reasons. He's never happy. He's always complaining about something, and the media asks stupid questions, and I wish that I could just play ball without the media even. You're going to be in New York. You want to be the face of a franchise. You left Cleveland and LeBron James because Kyrie, you wanted to be the face of a franchise. Being the face of a franchise comes with the media attention. That's part of it. Jimmy Butler did the same thing, where Jimmy Butler wanted to go be the face of something, and then you become the face of something, and you realize, holy crap, there's a lot more to this than just endorsements. The media rips you apart, and Kyrie is already so up in arms. So now we have KD, who's hypersensitive. We got Kyrie, who's always upset, always complaining about the media. And now we're going to add Zion Williamson to that, who comes from this insulated little blanket that is Duke, which is a great school, but is going to be torn apart by the New York media. And if he misses 3 games because he broke a shoe, New Yorkers, we're not going to have that. You need to be on the court. You're with a struggling franchise. You don't have the same luxury that you have at Duke to just wait it out until we make the playoffs, because in reality, the Knicks are just going to win 10 games without you. You have to be on the court. The fans are going to want you on the court, and there is going to be roasting by the media. The more I think about it, this collection of players that the Knicks go out and get, this is a huge free agency for our future. We need to make sure the picks are not... We can't just chase skills. They have to be a fit for New York. New York is a certain type of city, a certain type of place, a certain type of people. If you're going to be a superstar in New York, you have to do it a certain way. Think Derek Jeter. Could say all the right things without ever really saying anything, and is a New York legend. We need people who can handle that and still perform. KD can perform. I don't think he can handle the media. I think the same with Kyrie. I think Zion is still in the air, but Zion needs to understand that when he comes to the NBA, he's going to be a top pick. He's going to go to a franchise that is dysfunctional, that is struggling, that will need help, and that is not going to let him sit on the sideline because he hurt his knee a little bit. I'm not saying that wasn't painful. I'm saying the NBA has different expectations, and I'm very curious as to how these Duke players are going to translate on the next level, because so far history tells us it's about 1 in every 10 that gets drafted that turns into anything. Again, 9 Duke players average more than 10 points per game in today's NBA. Thought that was fascinating. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. I didn't want to spend too much time about the NCAA tournament. I hope you guys are enjoying it. It is the funnest time of year. It's so much fun to watch these games, look at the highlights. There's so much emotion, so much passion. I love it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Please leave a like. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed, and leave a comment down below. Who do you guys think is going to be in the Final Four, and who is your pick to win the NCAA championship? And I know I got a lot of Duke fans out there. This might have rubbed you the wrong way. Let's talk about it. What do you think is the problem with Duke players? Is 9 players averaging double digits enough? I don't think it is for that type of school. What are your guys' thoughts? Why don't Duke players translate well to the NBA? Hope you guys are having a great one. I appreciate you guys being here. Good vibes only. You know how it goes. Peace and love. Completely biased. Zach Lowell and Overly Committed is out. We'll see you guys soon.
They used to clown on me, now they tell me I'm the man. Like a young Ric Flair, smoking on hella good, think I need fresh air. Boy, I'm running my city, I'ma need a fresh pair. Never scared of Lion Tigers or Chicago Bears. Y'all support